Disclaimer. This video was made with the assumption you've already seen My Hero Academia and know where we're going and have a direct understanding of all changes made. Also that you've seen our prologue video, which will help further. Also, while there may be some visuals, they're completely optional, so if you want to do dishes or focus on driving, you absolutely can. Okay, thanks for watching. I love you. So, Season 1 is mostly fine. We just want to iron out a couple kinks to really make Season 1 perfect.
To start with, Bakugo is an asshole. And not the fun type of asshole or the sort of understandable type. Well, understandable, not in a good way. It's harder to understand why people like him, when he's constantly rude and downright cruel to our POV character Midoriya, who still likes Bakugo, but this early on it's hard to understand why.
Bakugo in Season 1 alone attempts murder on Midoriya and tells him to KMS. Or is it KHS?
It doesn't really matter, still bad. For Season 1 Bakugo, I say that we go ahead and make it more clear how prideful and proficient he is. He regularly aces tests, maybe gets a bit pissy if he only gets a 95% or something, but doesn't really yell at the teacher about it or anything, just kind of yells, gets pissed, immediately grabs his books, and anime delinquent walks away to go study. Established that he's a dick, yeah, but he's not so bad. There are things to like about him.
To be clear, he's still a bully. Society has beaten down Midoriya and gassed Bakugo so damn much he's looking like an American factory in the 1920s. His pride is his flaw, not his cruelty. Think of Season 3 Bakugo, an asshole to people, but far more focused on making himself bigger rather than making others smaller. The only real beef he has is with Deku, but it's not to the point of murder. And also, it's important to establish them early in the season as good friends, to feel the heartbreak of when they end up as rivals in this early season. Show how society has drifted them apart. As kids, they had fun. We could have a scene where Bakugo is discovering his quirk and he and Midoriya are having a blast. Get it? Finally, I'm on my way to becoming the #1 hero.
Yeah, right. You're never gonna beat All Might.
Yeah, I will. I'll beat him and beat all the bad guys like he does and be the best. I'll bet you 1,000,000 yen.
But I'm broke!
And then as the years go by, Bakugo will keep being enabled and his snooty ass becomes what we see of it in the modern day. In fact, here's a proposal on how the scene in the classroom can go.
Midoriya is writing him those pamphlets on, what school do you want to apply to? And he'll write UA High wistfully. Bakugo notices and grabs him by the scruff of the neck, and makes some fun of him for it, and the teacher will tell him to stop, but won't actually do anything to inhibit him. And the teacher says,
Bakugo, it's not nice to make fun of dreams. But also, Midoriya, please remember to be realistic about where you want to go. Perhaps, Bakugo, you could frame your concerns for your classmates in a kinder way. And Bakugo will give a sassy response that is very obviously meant to be sarcasm, and the whole class will laugh at Midoriya.
And he'll feel very embarrassed, and then afterwards, Bakugo will isolate Midoriya with his buddies and ask Midoriya,
Did you apply to UA?
Yes?
How many times do I have to tell you that they're never gonna accept you? You literally don't have a quirk. You're useless to them, and you're only gonna get in my way when I become the #1 hero. And it certainly isn't gonna be you, who isn't All Might, who isn't me, Katsuki Bakugo, or anyone important. You're just you. You are Deku. I'm gonna be the greatest hero because that's my destiny. And your destiny is to be a civilian who doesn't get in my way and makes merch of me because you're just a weird little fanboy. Don't put your hands on me, you stupid nerd.
Man, I can't believe that dork used to be your friend.
We were never friends. He just followed me around like a lost puppy.
And that'll be the most crushing thing for Midoriya because they genuinely were friends. Ideally, these changes will have the audience more rooting for him to see the error of his ways and want his redemption, rather than his downfall. People really, really don't like early Bakugo.
Another good way to do that is to show his positives. Maybe one of the friends he hangs out with litters and Bakugo crashes out on him. Hey, dumbass! You realize that you're destroying our Earth, right? The trash can is right there! Which, if you'll recall, is like the first lesson Midoriya receives from All Might. Like, help your community, take out the trash. It writes itself. Oh, and speaking of All Might, right away in the beginning of the show, we should feel his fame and legacy. I'm talking first scene is his iconic I am here scene to really demonstrate just how important he is. And one way I think we can establish just how great he is with Stain, or as we'll know him in this first season, Akaguro. a friendly but reclusive comic book store owner who's a friendly face, though maimed it is, for Midoriya. In this season, he'll be a kind soul, but have some mean-spirited things to say about most heroes. We can even have a scene like this. Midoriya can walk into the shop and see a man covering his whole body in clothes, baggy hoodie, big jeans, boots and glasses, and a scarf. But upon seeing the boy, his face is alight with happiness and he removes some layers, showing his missing nose. "Hey, kid, how was school?" From there, Midoriya and Akaguro will talk, and maybe Midoriya will buy like a poster or something, and then mention,
"Oh, did you hear? There's a new hero in America. She apparently got a comic series and it's coming to Japan fully translated."
That All Might clone chick? I don't know. You really want some cheap knockoff of All Might to line your walls?
This serves the dual purpose of introducing Star and Stripe ahead of time. Could also use it to give his views on other heroes, depending on how long the conversation goes on. Maybe even have him talk about some of the greatest heroes of the old days, maybe even former One For All users that are otherwise somewhat unknown. And have Stain bitch about newer heroes like Endeavor, who acts like a dick to all his fans.
I mean, he gets the job done, but he doesn't make anybody feel safe. He doesn't save people with a smile. That's why he's at number 2. Stain's heavily underutilized, and taking this time to get some of his philosophy out there without it being so intense will provide some nice foreshadowing to his oncoming conflict. If you've seen our prologue video, you'll know a slight issue with Midoriya being gifted One For All is that it doesn't make sense why he's never questioned about suddenly having one. But Stain can help us too. Can you tell we like Stain?
In these talks about superheroes, maybe have Stain talk about how the world needs more heroes like Midoriya, with Izuku reminding him, as they presumably have known each other for some time, that he's quirkless and can't be a pro. Stain tells him to keep his setup. Never know when you might be a late bloomer. It has happened before. Even with the toe joint, he might still have one. Midoriya doesn't seem too hopeful, and Stain just says that worst case scenario, he becomes a vigilante, with immediate panic from our cinnamon roll Midoriya.
And then, when we actually get to this is where we're going to do some big overhauls. That might not seem like much now, but will be more impactful later. First off, there will come a scene where the class is using their quirks. Aizawa is being his millennial-last self, and is harshing Todoroki's vibes by telling him to use his quirk for real.
Use your quirk.
I am.
Use it properly. You're not an icicle, are you?
I'm good.
Use your quirk.
I forgot how to.
Use your quirk.
I left it at home.
Use your
I
quirk.
don't wanna! Ultimately, this whole conversation leads to Todoroki storming off, refusing to cooperate, maybe even show some of Aizawa's softer side by canceling glass or calling it early or something like that. Aizawa goes to talk to Todoroki. Ida says that it's important for somebody to check on Todoroki, and he should as class rep. But after the recent heroes and villains training exercise, he's going to hand in the student notes on their costumes and designed alterations to the support department. So Ida asks Momo to go to his place as she's vice president, although given Ida's personality, it might be more akin to inadvertent voluntelling.
Thankfully, Momo had that idea already, so she's fine with it, which will lead to her finding Aizawa and Shoto, talking with the former, apologizing, and Shoto following suit. Aizawa explains that the reason he pushed Shoto was because he wants Shoto to appreciate his power and see him reach his full potential. But Shoto's muleness stays stalwart. Eventually, Aizawa will leave Shoto alone and Momo will approach. They can have a cute little interaction where Momo effectively adopts Shoto in that caring extrovert to introvert way, although it's more of ambivert to introvert in this case. And this will transition nicely to letting other characters share the spotlight. I'm not opposed to an episode where it's just Class 1A forming friendships, like allowing the semblance of the Baku squad to take shape, show Denki and Jiro's early relationship, since that's like, unironically a good pairing, at least I think so. And also for Sato, because we already have someone doing super strength that we need if his powers were food-based, so sugar makes him fast, protein makes him dense, etc. Oh, and speaking of characters, Mineta.
Mineta. Okay, so unpopular opinion. I don't hate Mineta and want him burnt at the stake.
I can see the mobs now. Remember, wait until we've passed out the torches.
Hear me out, he's very flawed. But I feel like there's a good opportunity for some character growth there. He's still in the hero course and he still wants to be a hero, even if it's for the wrong reasons initially. I think part of a character arc for Mineta and reinforcing some bigger themes of the story is learning what it really means to be a hero. Yeah, he's in it for chicks, but I think there's room to grow beyond that. Perhaps Mineta wants to be popular with the ladies and well-liked and sees becoming a hero as the best way to achieve that. But he comes to understand that heroes aren't famous and beloved because of the job they hold, they pursue that job because of their admirable traits that lead to them being well-liked. One of the reasons I like Mineta is because of the genuine respect and admiration he has for Midoriya, who displays all of those heroic qualities despite having a power that, at the start, actively hurts him to use. I think that admiration can be used as the basis for character growth, Mineta admiring Midoriya and wanting to live up to his example, example beyond just wanting to be popular.
And for season 1, we can begin that admiration with the USJ incident, and also about the pervy thing. I do agree it can be a little much, but I do think we can use it to our advantage. First off, instead of Mineta being so abundantly and overwhelmingly pervy, let's instead just make him a bit of a doormat and a simp. He's just kind of a loser and acts sort of like Titan, but pre-superpowers. However, he'll actually grow past that instead of falling deeper into it. We do have plans for the grape boy, but for season 1, he's only but an ember waiting to alight. Secondly, we have another scene to help Bakugo out here.
He's not as much of a dick in this version, but it'd still help to establish that he really is gonna be a hero.
This one will help demonstrate compassion, and it can provide foreshadowing for later. To those who are aware of a particular fan theory, you'll catch what we're setting up. Bakugo, Kirishima, and Denki will pass by 2 missing posters showing Tsubasa and... Wait, what the fuck was that kid's name?
Oh, that's easy. His name is...
What? Hey, in English, please?
But he's Japanese.
Well, okay, but I'm pretty sure that's not what that was. Does he, my goodest and bestest buddy, have a damn name?
Everybody has a name, theoretically.
This kid's name is now Bob. Anyway, Bakugo will look a little blissful and remorseful, which is so off-putting for Kirishima and Denki that they perk up and ask,
Yo, Baku bro!
"Don't call me that, but yes." What's up?
You okay? You know those 2 kids?
Yeah, seriously, man. You look, not mad about something? It's freaking me out, honestly.
Hey man, quit that. This could be serious.
What is it with you extras always trying to butt into my personal life? Fuck off! Before fully storming off, we'll take a pause and look at the visiting posters again. And sigh heavily. And lastly, one of the last changes to be made at UA for this season is to have a character moment for Aizawa after the USJ incident. He's in recovery, and he and President Mike are having a quiet chat. Jeez, dude, what did they do to you?
Ask the doctor.
Very funny. Look, man, what have we talked about? You gotta stop.
Did what I had to. It was logical. The students needed protecting.
Sure, but so do you. I mean, do you think that... Look, it's just that I feel like you've been holding on to the past for way too long. I get that you regret what happened, but it wasn't your fault.
It's fine, Yamada. I'm fine.
Then suddenly, the doors fly open and a green-haired woman wearing baggy pants and cloth on her head springs forward into the room and weeps hysterically by Aizawa's bedside. Shut up, please! Please tell me you pull through! I can't bear to lose you!
How the hell did you get in here?
You're right to be.
No, you're not.
I'm your fiancé to be.
No, you're not.
Forgive me if you sign here.
I can't use my hands.
Surprise! Early mentions of Aizawa's trauma and a little cute Miss Joke cameo. One thing I'd like to mention for future reference, I don't hate the idea of Aizawa not completely hating Miss Joke, and instead it's more so of the relationship of a golden retriever annoying but begrudgingly comforting the black cat. And honestly, I think that's kind of a good stopping point for season 1. I mean, it's a very solid season. It helps that Midoriya, the main character, actually has an arc in season 1. Going from someone who thinks lowly of himself and is very meek and timid to overcoming his bully and proving to himself and to others that he can stand amongst his classmates as a hero to be, by going toe-to-toe with villains and even saving All Might. It's just really solid.
These changes are made to help alleviate some of the growing pains of Season 1, cut some of the fat, and set up more character arcs for the future. As my compatriot said, it's already in a pretty good spot.
Now on to Season 2. That's right, more than one season in a video, baby! Ooh. This is where we're going to be moving mountains. We have a lot to get through, so let's not slack and get to work. To start off, you know how at the start of every season we usually get a recap at a scene where 1A is doing something or other to remind you other characters exist and reintroduce their powers to you? Well, throw that shit out! The big problem with these intro episodes to each season is that it's like the only time other members of 1A get to do stuff, which might sound nice until you realize that sometimes it becomes the only thing certain characters will do in the entire season. And also, it's just annoying having the same information repeated to you over and over again. So all of that is gone. And what we're going to do instead is have this first episode of Season 2 start with Toshinori and Sukauchi, along with a few of the other teachers discussing the nature of the mole in UA. All Might suggests calling in the investigative hero, Tano Tokuda. You know, the guy with a whole body lens? Yeah, in this version, he's going to be a full-blown hero. Well, More of a vigilante since he's pretty independent and underground, but he does good work. Through some convincing words, All Might sways his compatriots to let Takuda look at the case. And as the episode is coming to a close, he'll reveal to us that more likely than not, the mole, the traitor, is a student in Class 1A. But who could it be? Well, the camera cuts and reveals Hagakure, and Mina hanging out with Oyama and just having a fun ball. Of course, you already know who it is, but the show doesn't know, you know. So, it's being all deceptive with camera work. From there, we can get the same setup for the UA festival, but this time we'll actually dedicate some time to A1 training, further creating bonds and making stronger friendships. I think it'd even be nice to show the formations of the Deku and Baku squad proper, and even some more character building for Todoroki, since this is kind of his season, in fact. Here's a proposal for how episode 2 could begin. See Todoroki walking to UA as his phone buzzes. He'll look down and immediately hang up the call in frustration, before hearing Momo call his name.
Hey, Aoyorozu, since you're trying to be my friend and all, could you do me a favor?
Oh, well, of course. What is it?
Could you start calling me Shoto?
This is surprising for Momo, but being the sweetie she is, agrees. This little scene is here for the main purpose of showing Shoto's primary flaw that he has to work through. The abandoning of his identity due to his not entirely self-imposed belief that it's deeply connected to his ever-wonderful and totally cool dad.
It's an interesting character thread, and one that feels like it gets resolved fairly quickly. Shoto's first hero costume, which we only briefly saw in the Season 1 training exercise, was unique. He was covering up his left side completely with fake ice, and as far as outfits go, it was otherwise almost normal. A white shirt, white pants, and white boots. Completely covering up his scar, but also everything that might visually or thematically connect him to Endeavor.
Shoto understands thematic symbolism.
Ironically, Endeavor's hero outfit also uses his fire to cover up part of his face, with the flaming facial hair that he otherwise doesn't have. The point is, completely rejecting that part of himself isn't really working for Todoroki, and that plot thread being essentially resolved after the later events in the season makes it feel rushed and largely inconsequential, and his hero outfit goes from being a complete and blatant rejection of his father to kind of a jumpsuit. And there was a while where I thought that he was just using his gym uniform for hero work.
And speaking of Endeavor, well, we'll get back to him, because we're going to take some time to establish other character moments in these training episodes. For instance, Kaminari. After an intense training session, where it was mainly Bakugo and Kirishima just going at it.
Training. They were training.
Some of the other students that day were a bit disappointed with how Denki seemed pretty lackluster and non-committal. Maybe a scene like this could unfold.
What's your deal?
Come on, Jiro, you know that whenever I use my quirk, things go wrong.
Went fine at USJ though, didn't it?
Well, yeah, because you threw me at the enemy. Cut me some slack, okay? I'm scared.
Look, you'll be fine, okay? I think that you know you're trying. And as long as you don't slack off, this, anxiety you got will start going away. You signed up to be a hero after all, you gotta start using your quirk eventually.
Hey, does anyone else remember when Kaminari in the USJ incident talked about how he's nervous to use his quirk because he could hurt the people he cares about? Yeah, that's staying and gonna be part of his character growth. We are not wasting characters!
And we aren't going to waste character dynamics either, such as the main couple of the story, Ochako and Izuku. And it's understandable why it doesn't get much development later, with the stakes being so high, which is why it's important to try and establish and build some of these things early.
But we also don't want to fall into that pit trap that the original does, where it's just Uraraka crushing on Midoriya, and that becomes her whole thing, and we ignore the other facets of her character. So a quick little scene that they can have after training with Sue and Ida can look like this.
Oh, Uraraka, are you hungry?
Oh, no, I'm okay. It's getting a bit late, isn't it? We should turn in for the evening.
Oh, are you sure? I don't mind stopping for some food. I just got my allowance, so I'm...
No, it's fine. I'm fine. I swear, everything... And cut to the two of them sitting on a bench as she inhales some pastries. From there, Midoriya, being the quite literal little gentleman, will take her home, and the two can laugh and enjoy each other's company. And for Ida, since he shares relevancy with Todoroki in the season, we can have this unfold. After another day of training and hanging out with the Deku squad, Sue and Uraraka will walk home together, and the boys will do the same. As they're walking, Midoriya will see the comic shop he frequents and invites Ida inside, introducing him to none other than Akaguru. They exchange pleasantries, and in the background we'll see that the clock reads 2:30, or wait, hold on. Do they use that kind of time in Japan, Mass?
Let me check real quick.
What weird time senses do you even have?
Wikipedia.
The eldritch mask I found in a chest that sprouts hands and every once in a while slams itself onto my face to do God knows what. Uses Wikipedia?
Yes, and you have legs, but you use a car. What's your point?
My point is that we're getting away from the rewrite. Anyway, so yes, the clock reads 2:30, I guess, and Agakuru will say, "Oh man, I'm sorry.
For what?"
Your family with that, Ingenium, yeah?
Ah, yes, my brother. He's the greatest hero ever. I look up to him. He's my own personal hero.
Damn, kid. I'm sorry. I guess you weren't told.
Wait, did something happen?
At this moment, his phone will begin to ring. Yeah, it was on the news. He was attacked by the hero killer. The scene will transpire with rising tense music as Ida will run off, as will Midoriya, and when he gets home, he'll turn on the news by 3 and overhear the breaking news that Ingenium was discovered brutally maimed by the hero killer's stain. This scene exists for 2 reasons. 1, it'll make Ida disoriented at the sports festival, giving him more reasons to act slightly more out of it and provide a more reasonable reason for Mei to so easily dupe him. And the other, more important reason is to set up an upcoming mystery, but that'll have to wait after the sports festival. Speaking of, let's talk about it.
The school sports festival arc is pretty good, but there are some more things we can do with it, such as smoothing Midnight out a bit and having her more consistently admire and support the energy and drive and attitude the students display instead of being a little weird about it. Maybe have her jokingly flirt with Snipe or something. It's a minor change, but why not?
We want her to feel maternal in nature, likable, friendly, kind, and if she wants to be a freak, she can be a freak with the adults. But that's not all, we have more in store.
Like giving more characters fights. For example, Ojiro and Sato, to give them something. Ojiro is the martial arts character, that's his whole thing, and he drops out before the physical combat portion of the tournament starts. Meanwhile, Sato, the muscly guy in Class 1A, gets,
Fucking nothing! You probably forgot his name, that's why we clarified, which if you recall, we've already proposed something to fix this poor bastard. His sugar-based power is now a food-based power. Depending on what he eats, he gets different abilities.
hero name, Vitaman. Quirk name, Nutrition. Protein for strength, sugar for speed. A quirk with a lot of variety and potential. Because in canon, his whole thing is being strong, and he's not even that strong, poor bastard.
Also, it's kind of redundant because, you know...
Shoji has enhanced strength too, and Kirishima is also kind of strength forward. His power is hardening.
Oh my god, we get it! Oh yeah. Where were we? Oh. They're gonna fight. Ojiro will open with a flurry of fists.
Sato makes use of his upgraded strength to attempt to power through, and...
Ojiro can then make use of his tail. As you know, 5 limbs are useful in a fist fight.
How would they know that?
He can throw more combos. Halfway through a roundhouse, the tail flies up and smacks Sato in the jaw such that the kick may make an easier connect. Ojiro can even be super good at grappling. From there, Sato will be able to
make use of the versatility of his new quirk. Maybe he's allowed to bring a support item into the arena that's a utility belt full of snacks and stuff. He chomps down on a protein bar. Ojiro blocks the punch, but it still sends him skidding back. He needs a bit of extra mass to keep Ojiro from knocking him back, so he eats a stick of butter for the fat, while thinking about how he's going to have to exercise it off later. Plus, there's sugar for speed, maybe carrots for eyesight. He can only carry so much food with his belt.
Maybe you can have the classic speedster moment of Ojiro being zipped around and cheekily smacked down a few times before he instinctively reaches out with the tail, not even needing to turn around, and trips Sato, making him fall on his face and slide to how fast he was running. And while Sato gets back up, grabbing at his belt for a new resource, it's not there, as Ojiro smiles and tosses it aside. Tails, man, they're useful. 5 limbs in a fight!
How do you know that? Anyway, with his power source lost, he still puts up a good fight, but Ojiro is far more experienced as a martial artist, and to show off that knowledge for the crowd, he backs Sato up to the edge of the ring and hits him with a 1-inch punch to win by ring out. Nothing to hurt a classmate too badly, right?
Actually, I'm pretty sure Sato is in immense pain after that.
Sources conflict, and besides, if Midoriya can bruise every single inch of his arm and walk away fine as long as he doesn't do it twice, it'll be okay, I think.
Ojiro will look down to Sato and politely as ever say,
Hey, no worries, you did good. Proud of you, man.
To be clear, he has just the slightest shit-eating grin. He's still trying to win, remember? Well, he won't because Shoto exists, but you get it.
And as for Shinso's fight against Midoriya isn't that hard to bait into talking, really. And things proceed as per canon.
Well, except for one thing. As Midoriya is walking out of bounds, the brainwashing seemingly inescapable, his adrenaline racing, his heart pounding, his mind screaming. And then he stops. Shinso is perplexed and pipes up. Hey, is my voice broken or something? Move it, Broccoli.
And then All Might, and only All Might, notices the reason why he stopped. This weird kinda black energy stuff is keeping him tied to the ground. And then he trips backward and smacks his head. You can still see the One for All ghosts, too.
though he was the one who commanded this tendril to root him in place. The ghosts only bore witness to the true power of the night. So, why did we decide to introduce Black Whip this early? No, seriously, why I'm asking? Please, the audience is gonna get mad, please!
Canonically, Izuku starts getting multiple quirks a little bit late and without foreshadowing. Having it pop up here initially could be a fun teaser for it and provide a little bit of symmetry with his fight in the 1A versus 1B match later when Black Whip goes out of control.
Damn, poor Shinzo, always getting screwed by...
Anyway...
Yes, sorry. On to the two Todorokis. As the match with Midoriya and Todoroki draws near, though not quite here, Todoroki will isolate Midoriya the same way he did before and speak to him, though this time, instead of trauma dumping, it's more nuanced and complex than that. He'll share a fraction of his past and say something like,
The scar is because of my father. He's here right now, watching. You see, I'm what he calls his masterpiece. Do you know who my father is?
Endeavor, right? The #2 hero in Japan.
He hates that. His dream and only sole ambition is to be the #1 hero. He wants to beat All Might, but he can't do it. So instead, it's up to me. He wants the blood of the Todorokis to reign supreme above all else.
Is that why you're fighting so hard? To see that happen since I'm the closest to All Might and all?
This has happened after the whole secret love child thing, since that's iconic.
I'm doing it because I hate that bastard. What he did to me. My mom. It doesn't matter. I'm telling you this because I want you to go all out. I have to beat you with my ice. I have to win with my ice. I'm asking you for a favor here. Do you understand? Do you understand why I'm not holding back?
Yeah, I get it. You don't want me to either. Sure.
This scene will help to, in my opinion, give proper and nuanced context to Todoroki without an entirely long-winded, extremely fast-paced, and kinda out-of-nowhere backstory. With this, we get hints and teasers and still focus on the main flaw for Todoroki in this arc, but without expelling all of the trauma all at once. Now, instead of all of his problems being addressed in one arc, we have one problem for one arc. Much smoother. A bit afterwards, Midoriya will overhear something and begin eavesdropping, then looks ahead and notices Bakugo doing the exact same thing. The two try to quietly tell each other to not freak out while freaking out, as a conversation between Endeavor and Todoroki plays out.
Listen to me, Shoto. If you use your fire in conjunction with your ice, you could win in a landslide. Don't you see, boy? I'm trying to help.
I know your game. Just because you've stopped hitting me and started brown-nosing me doesn't mean I'm suddenly gonna listen to you. I'll never forgive you.
Shoto. I'm not. It's not about forgiveness. I want to atone. I want to see you succeed. Is it wrong for a father to want to see his boy at the top?
I'm so sick of this. Leave me alone. Mom is winning this, not you. So get lost, old man.
Endeavor starts out really rough, but that makes his atonement arc all the better. In this version, we're skipping over it a bit. He's starting further along at the point where he realizes that he's screwed up a lot. Losing that build-up hurts, but he kinda gets too much of it. Endeavor's character arc overshadows a lot of others in MHA, even some of the major players in the story. Shoto's character development practically ends when Endeavor's begins.
This will allow Shoto and Endeavor to share a character arc where Shoto overcomes a lot of his baggage and doesn't ever forgive his father, but is able to stand and work alongside him nicely and effectively, while also being comfortable with his identity again. And Endeavor, while still conflicted on his feelings in this version of wanting to be the #1 hero, but also trying to be better to his kids, he lands in a sort of unclear, murky, is he truly good or not? And as the story progresses and he demonstrates how much better he is and how much he wants to be, it will then perfectly provide us and the world the shock Dabi is after when it's all out there. By holding back, we give a more smooth, more subtle, more nuanced reveal. As for the fight between the boys, it's kind of perfect. Maybe some small line changes to fit with this new canon. A quick proposal could be,
You're holding back. Look at you, Todoroki, you're shaking. The only damage done to me was by me. How are you gonna ask me for my best when you're half-assing it yourself?
"Shut up! You don't get it!"
You realize I'm gonna win, right? How disrespectful can you be to the competition? Everyone is out here giving it their all, so please do the same. You're the best of us, Todoroki. Show the world that it's yours. Your quirk, not his.
And now, as we wind down, we have but one more thing to address. Our beloved Stain. for he gets a whole ass arc, a murder mystery arc, focused primarily on Midoriya, Ida, and some of the other Deku Squad members tracking him down while in the middle of their internships. They'll follow his blood trail, maybe an episode with Uraraka and Sue following breadcrumbs, signs of his work. Midoriya can have an encounter with him where he fights and loses, but gains knowledge on his philosophy. After being paralyzed, Stain will put his blade away and say, "I've to determine your nature, though I see it in your eyes. The one who is worthy shines in you. You've much to learn, young man, but I believe in your kind heart." And then the linchpin. Akaguro will say that he's going to be heading out of town for a while, but he does give a few things away for free to Midoriya since, they're buddies. And Ida, after being told this later, notices that on the news, another hero was attacked in that same city Akaguro was heading to. Can't be a coincidence, right? But then he remembers something. The time. Akaguro mentioned his brother's attack before the news aired it. His mind is made up, and he goes. And from there, it can play out like normal. Only now, both Ida and Midoriya have a thematic narrative reason to fight Stain, rather than just, Ida has the important stuff, but because Midoriya is the protagonist, he's gotta be there. Now he's fighting a friend with values that may even match his own, contrasted with his other friend, who lost a brother.
One of the things we want to do with this season is give Midoriya a more in-depth character arc. He's a bit static early on, and his struggles are largely related to not being in full control of All For One, which isn't a bad struggle to have, but it's a physical struggle. Character-wise, ideals-wise, the most of the change is that he starts to think outside the box and fights a bit more, and that he becomes more resolved to do the things that he was already going to do. With this change, Midoriya can start to better grasp the darker sides of hero society. Akaguro was a murderer, but he had ideals about what a hero should be, and what a hero needs to be. And, to an extent, this is the same advice All Might had been giving Izuku. Being selfless, always present, a symbol of peace, worked for All Might. Other heroes, other people can't live up to those standards. Following All Might's advice has led to Izuku doing good, yes, but it hasn't been without consequence. He managed to crack Todoroki's shell, but got literally scarred by it. Until he figured out full cowling, all of his attacks required him to hurt himself, and it's no coincidence that he's using the same names All Might does. There can be a question here, not if Izuku can be the next All Might, but if Izuku should be the next All Might.
Layering this through the season with the festival, where All Might is, not with malice, but ignorance, pushing Midoriya to break his limits, go beyond, plus ultra. But unfortunately, it requires Midoriya to break his bones. And Stain, he challenges the simple black and white view Midoriya has at the start of our new season, paralleling Shigaraki discovering his own views on the world, starting to form proper ideals. Midoriya will start to realize not everything is so simple. He will begin to understand what kind of hero he'll really want to be. Perhaps not the next All Might after all. With how broken everything actually sounds, maybe something new might need to happen. Midoriya doesn't understand it all, but Stain having an effect on Shigi will also begin to affect Deku. But anyway, that's the first 2 seasons down for My Hero Academia. Please, do all the YouTube stuff if you've enjoyed this video, and
Come on, they can't just have our outro be that simple. It's gotta have some kind of action.
what, like a bomb going off?
Yeah, like that crap.